You've arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast, your home for your favorite independent artists and a couple of guys you've never heard of.
Who?
It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was what I had coming to me. You were unlike anything.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Texas to Tennessee podcast. This week we are Steveless with our one episode that we're recording this week. So, as you know, there's no telling what the hell I go on without the dad figure of the podcast involved. So it may fly off the rails, right? So we got a special guest co-host tonight, Hope McGuire or McGregor. Sorry. The Steph McGuire is the other. She has her own damn thing. Yeah, I'm gonna make it into a song if I don't shut. Thanks for taking the time to hop on. Jeez.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here. I'll forgive you of that one, but if you do it again, I'll beat you up.
That's all right. I should have got Steph just to do this whole thing. Steph McGuire has her own version of this leg of this podcast as well, and she's an all around singer songwriter, tour manager, badass in general. So we need to get y'all together just for the hell of it. With the songs that y'all have, she would fit right in. So I met. I told this before we got rolling. I met Hope. She played with some buddies of mine, Memphis Key, based out of Austin these days. Some of the guys, or the main fellow from there, is from the Memphis area. So ties to that. But I saw her open up for them in Memphis at Hernando's Hideaway, which is really cool venue and all that stuff. When Steve sent me Claire's music, I knew that I had to send them to Hope, and then eventually asked her if she wanted to hop on to co-host this thing. So thanks for taking the time, and I'm glad that I can introduce some new best friends.
Hell yeah.
Well, Claire, if you wouldn't mind, take a second and kind of give us a little quick bio of who you are.
Okay, this is always the most difficult part for me. I feel like I forget every fact of my life. But my name's Claire Hinkle. I'm 25. I am born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas. Spent pretty much my whole life here, except for a few years when I was in college. I was up in New York City. It turns out it's really, really expensive there. So I had to come back home. But I mean, I grew up around music. I know that's like what most people say, but my dad was a blues musician, is a blues musician. And then my mom is a family law attorney. So if anyone needs to get a divorce, let me know. But two polar opposites.
Already did that, but good to know.
Yeah, you get it. But yeah, I started I was always getting up on stage with my dad as a little kid. And then I went to college and I played a bunch of gigs up in New York that were really interesting. I mean, there's not a lot of room for, I don't know. I can only speak from my experience, but musicians, like in the sense that I am a musician, like me and my guitar singing very loudly, kind of pissed off energy coming from me.
Okay.
So, I mean, a lot of my gigs were for free outside on the street because the venue or the restaurant was so small on the inside that they just couldn't fit a musician in there. It was good. It was great character building. I look back on it fondly. But I came back from New York and I didn't know what I was doing, like most people fresh out of college and most people who are alive. And so I started a band. It was a rock band. And I had never, I mean, I love all kinds of music, love rock music, but I had never fronted a rock band before. It was so far out of my comfort zone. Um, and that went well. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, I had some odd jobs here and there and was just kind of back and forth between music and am I going to go into the real world? I don't know. And I finally asked a family friend for help figuring out what to do. And he told me that if I wanted to do this, I would need to kind of go back to my roots, which my roots, the way I've always written songs is more like Americana storytelling stuff. And at that point, it had been so long since I had done that because I originally thought that that wasn't going to work. Like I had to go and do something else like heavier, you know? So it's kind of, I don't know. From there, I'm a really kind of bad storyteller, but from there, everything snowballed from like, I showed him some songs. He's now my manager. We ended up being able to go record at Sunset Sound with Shooter Jennings. We did 4 songs there. That was magical. Did a crazy South by Southwest in 2025 that included like Luck Reunion. That like freaked me out. I mean, I was going from like I'm playing 3 to 4 hour cover gigs and no one gives a shit. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. To like I'm on stage at Luck and I am getting a ring and all this stuff. I was like, it was a really strange adjustment period. It still kind of is. And yeah, then we had we got to do Western AF. We were invited to do that. That was crazy. Wasn't expecting that. Then Americana Fest, and then now we're here. We just did another South by, which was great. Did some stuff for BMI, which was awesome. I don't know. Hopefully that's a good synopsis. It kind of feels like a chicken with no head. I'm just running around. So
I think a lot of people can relate to that in the music world and otherwise. Well, we'll touch on a lot of that stuff. But Steve's not here, but I'm going to ask his question, and then we'll break that down, and then kind of go backwards into some of those things you were talking about. So, Steve's question is called the pie question. All right, and you got a musical pie broke down into 4 sections. You got songwriting, performance, studio, and then everything else, the business, socials, everything it takes to take your small business running. Which one of those things is home first?
That's hard. First has always been, I don't know. Okay, can I pick 2? Or do I have to pick one?
You can have multiple homes.
Okay.
Okay.
I've made a home in songwriting and performing since I was like very young. But you know what? I'll say first songwriting. We'll go songwriting first.
Did those? I'm assuming that those homes changed as time went. As far as what was most, I mean, you were probably, I would assume, performance started early, and then songwriting kind of come in after the fact, given your story, the way you were describing your story.
Well, that's the difficult part, is that I was getting up on stage with my dad when I was 5, and I was also at the same age, you know, unintentionally writing songs with my dad when I was 5. Like he would just start playing, and then I would say a line, and then sometimes that line would really stick for him, and then all of a sudden it would be like writing a song off of what a 5-year-old said. So yeah, I do take a percentage of that, definitely. But you know, they started at the same time. I was lucky, and also it was kind of an unusual situation, I think, to be so a part of his career early on.
Understand. But I could also see where, as a songwriter, sometimes you overthink things so much, and then all of a sudden, an innocent line from left field could actually, say something that you were completely overthinking.
It's funny too because even as a child, I guess I've always just had an attitude problem. I don't know if that's how you want to say it, but like the line that my dad took from me when I was little was "You're just a ball and chain around my ankle," because I didn't know what that was called, but just the imagery of like a prisoner with that kind of stuff because I was watching cartoons and shit like that. But even then, that's kind of like he was concerned that my mom had been talking to me.
All right. As far as the well, Hope, do you have anything to chime in on that part of it, on the songwriting part, or whichever?
Yeah. Well, I think when we talk like the interplay between songwriting and performing, and then the other aspects of like business industry stuff, coming from parents that you had one creative parent, it sounds like, right? Like your dad being the musician. And then like I went through law school, was a practicing attorney for a while. Like that requires a totally different skill set, right? Like very organized, logical, A goes to Z. How has having a mom who did she instill in you like the business sense that you would need, like the logistics and the planning and the linear thinking? Like how has that helped or maybe hurt the creative side but helped the business side?
As opposite as my parents are, they're still married. But like they both have elements. Like my dad can be very business minded because he's been in the music business for so long. So, and my mom can be very creative. Like she has perfect pitch. She's played piano. Like she's a writer, it's definitely not split down the middle. So I think that I always say that I got so lucky with the family that I have, because I mean it was never like two sides separated fighting, like, or creating that kind of dynamic inside of myself. It was very much like they just kind of go like this. I don't know how else to describe it. But it's been nice to have people who are both creative and more analytical, because I feel like knock on wood, maybe less inclined to get fucked over. I don't know.
Yeah.
More aware, definitely more aware.
Well, and then I guess I'm also curious, like, does your dad now try to give you song ideas?
No, not really. He's funny to me. He's a man of few words. But like I appreciate that about him. He's very supportive of me, but he very much is like, go live your own life, have your own creative experience and expression. If you need guidance, like, I'm here, but he's never really in my business like that. Which, okay.
Did the parents, I mean, I know you went to you studied music, but when you decided to kind of take that leap and actually doing the thing, did they understand that, or were they hesitant on it, or? Because I could see, a lot of times if people play music or in the business, they could be like, you need to stay the hell away from that. Or, or just, be like, okay, I get it. Because you either are or you're not, you got to find out, right?
Right. My parents have always been incredibly supportive of me and whatever I wanted to do, whatever made me happy. But I mean, my dad, I remember he used to tell me all the time, don't be a musician. Do not be a musician. Don't do it. Don't be a musician.
I understand.
And I mean, you're really going to tell your teenage daughter what to do and expect her to follow through on that? There's
Right.
no way. I told him that. I was like, I might have not been a musician had you just not said anything. Which isn't true, but I think he gets it. You're like, sounds kind of cheesy, but like you're called to it or whatever. I mean, it was never really an option for me. Like, I never fully considered doing something else. There have been times out of fear that I've considered doing other things, but I mean, that's the tell for me, is the only time I'm considering not doing it is when I'm scared. And that's not like based in reality.
Right. Well, that's great because as far as just having the support and them understanding where you're coming from, because a lot of times, not to be mean or whatever, but a lot of times if you don't have a creative side to you, then you don't understand what with someone that is creative, whether it's art or music or whatever the case would be. It's hard to understand where they're coming from.
Right.
And as a parent, you want them to make the best decisions, which you don't necessarily always understand as a parent. So, it's hard to know what makes somebody else tick. Um, all right, the songwriting part of that pie. Besides you helping Dad, when you really started diving more into that, is that something that you pretty much did alone, or have you dove into the co-writing with your music?
So starting off, I mean, everything was just by myself, um, which was good for me because I think I needed to figure out what I would even wanted to say or what it would sound like when I said it. Um, and only in the past 6 months, really, have I started doing co-writes. And I honestly, I'm trying to do as many as I can. I think they're such great like icebreakers with people, because my thing is I want to make friends, and I also have a tendency to be a little, I guess, socially awkward in certain settings. And the best part of co-writes is you just go sit down with someone and you're like, hey, what's like the most fucked up thing that's ever happened to you? And then
Right.
you're immediately like this with someone. That's been my experience.
Is it something that I would imagine songwriting can be a vulnerable thing, and intimidating and all kinds of things, just to pitch out your ideas, or if you think of something that to piggyback on what they're doing, to actually speak up and say something. um, is that did that kind of come natural to you, or it just depends on who it is?
I think that the worst thing you can say, whether it's a co-write or like anything else that's creative, like a creative partnership, is the word no. It's a terrible word because it just shuts people down immediately. So I try not to I don't feel the need to like take control in a co-write, Or if I feel that way, like I try to shut that down immediately. Um, because it's really, for me, it just has to be about like getting in there and just finishing the song. And, knowing that at the end of the day, it's a collaboration. And that's, what it's meant to be. So it's like we're creating a little song baby. It's the best way I can describe it. I don't know.
What's
I don't know if
your
that answers your question, but
No, that's fine.
What's your favorite co-write like setup? Do you like a one-on-one? Do you like a 3-person, 4-person? Like, what's your ideal co-write formula?
I don't know. So the most I've had in a co-write is like 3 people, including myself. I think that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would want to write with more than 3 people. That feels, I'm not closed off to it completely. I would have to see how that works. But I think my favorite is just like me and another person sitting down to write a song. Sometimes it is nice to have that third party there, though, because it kind of just offers a completely different perspective. So I don't know. I don't know what my preference is.
We'll ask you again in a few years.
Yeah, that's fair.
What it's are you a notes in the phone person, or are you actually write it down, or do you do any of that stuff?
I prefer to write it down. But I end up normally doing both in a writing setting because it is so easy to just share a note with someone. But I like to write it down. I'm kind of have like a squirrel brain, so it goes everywhere, and write that, like, the act of writing something down is kind of like very grounding for me.
Or do you have those moments happen where when you have a song idea, do they tend to happen like at inconvenient times? Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Where you gotta make a point to actually, to get somewhere where you can write that down, or to get it in your phone. Have you ever had that happen?
Probably.
Gotcha.
Probably, but I can't think of anything off the top of
I
my
got
head.
you.
You mean you've never been in the shitter at Target and been like, oh, I have a really good song idea, but there's way too many people in here for me
Yeah,
to
I
be
love
like,
that. Yeah, yeah, they just hear me in the stall singing. La,
Yeah.
la, 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 la.
Fair enough.
That's awesome.
What? That's not happened to y'all? Jeez.
No.
Awkward. All right, you got anything to piggyback on any of that, Hope, or?
yeah, well, I want to write with more people in Texas because I feel like there's this weird resurgence happening in Nashville where people are like writing on pen and paper, which is lovely. I agree, like a very fun way to work through ideas. But the number of times I've been in a writer's room and like 2 people are sitting on one side of the room and they've got the pen and paper, and I'm sitting on the other side of the room with the guitar, and they're like, we'll go to that third line. And I'm like, where is the third line? I can't see it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to start writing more in Texas because maybe people have their heads on straight about sharing notes.
Well, when you started talking about, we're not terribly far away from halftime, so I want to get back around to some of the things you mentioned in your opener. When you decided to kind of head down that Americana sort of lane, I guess, how did this Shooter Jennings? Because we're gonna play Hot Shit, which I love the title of that, in a few minutes. But and Shooter worked with you on that
Yes,
that a couple singles, right? You said 4.
yeah. Mhm.
And he's pretty good, I guess, right? So how did that how did that relationship or that happen where you got to work with Shooter?
So through my manager, I mean, and they're just like friendly with each other. And my manager is friendly with his manager, and at the time my manager, he was like, I'm not gonna be your manager. I'm not gonna be your manager. I'll help you, but I'm not gonna be your manager. And I was like, okay. And then all of this snowballed, and I just remember looking over one day and being like, you're my manager. like we're at Sunset Sound with Shooter Jennings and you're in the room. That's what's happening right now. But I mean, that was kind of like they just kind of knew each other, and he sent that stuff over. Like he sent these demos over that I had recorded in my bathroom. The shitter is where the magic happens. And they just, I guess, just liked them so much. They were like, we're totally in. Because initially, you know, we were looking at more local studios. And I remember my manager just called me one day and was like, what if I just sent these to Shooter and just asked, like, you know, what he thought about them? And I was doing laundry at my parents' house, and I was like, yeah, can you please do that? Like, let's go. And so that's kind of how that happened.
I can only imagine the phone call, you know, that actually was happening, and then, you know, and then yeah, I bet so, and then making the trip out, and you know, the whole thing would have to be, you know, completely surreal. Even, I mean, I've heard similar things from even, you know, from established bands that end up, you know, working with Shooter and things, and just kind of wondering, you know, how in the hell all that would happen, you know, because Shooter's one of those guys I find interesting as far as if he wanted to, he could just ride that coattail as far as his career is concerned. Like he almost is working harder to do what he wants to do than he could just being Waylon's son. So
I mean,
to me he has like he's got to have the respect of all these people because of the path he chose.
yeah, Shooter is, I mean, so I spent like 2 or 3 days there. And you know, obviously that was not even in the realm of possibilities for me initially, because I mean, that's Shooter Jennings, and like, I can't afford that. You know what I mean? And they gave us a crazy deal. Because I guess they liked the music that much, which was, that just doesn't sound even right to me, but super cool. And he's just so, he just loves music. Like, I have so much admiration for him, even though, like, obviously he works with a bunch of people, very busy dude, probably does not even think about, you know, those 2 or 3 days in the studio. But I remember at the end of it, it was so surreal because I'm sitting there at this like crazy board in the same room that like Prince did all of Purple Rain in. What the fuck are you talking about? And I'm sitting behind the board, and I have my band there, which half of which are like from the Texas Gentlemen, which is a band that I love. And then I think Charlie Crockett was there for some reason. I don't know. And well, they like, he and Shooter worked together, and I was just listening to my own song on these giant speakers, and all I could think about was like, it's so cheesy, but when I was like really little, and I would stand in front of my parents and my parents' friends in our living room and like put on like a show, you know, and I just started crying. And I went up to Shooter. I was like, you have no idea what this means to me. But this is like, not to be cliche or anything, but this is like an actual dream that you facilitated for me, and you aren't benefiting from this at all, like financially or any, like, that's insane to me that kind of kindness was shown to me immediately. And he cried a little bit too. It was just nice. It was like a really heartwarming exchange. Yeah, he's magic. That place is magic.
That's cool. That's cool.
What's the next, like, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the next like thing you have of all the things, you know, you're talking about how like being in that soundstage, like working with Shooter Jennings is something that's like not even on your radar as a possibility at that time. What's kind of your next thing that you're shooting for that you're like, ooh, if this stage comes up, or that producer comes up, or that co-write comes up, like what are you dreaming up next?
What am I dreaming of next? Oh man. Well, I don't know, they feel like little secrets to me. But I guess right now I really want to get on the road and tour. I want to get book some opening like positions for people. And then obviously I'm from Fort Worth. I love Billy Bob's. Like a huge dream of mine would be to like play there on that big stage.
I could imagine. Yeah. Just walking through the stockyards and kind of seeing Billy Bob's over there, kind of looming. You know what I mean? I could, and I've only been there once, so I could imagine how it is growing up around there. You know, like in the Memphis area, we don't really have. We have a couple venues, you know, that would be the hotter spots to play necessarily, but not to that extent. The ones in Memphis are probably pretty obtainable. If you want to play for nothing, you can probably do it. But as far as that goes, I didn't really think about that when walking around there. And there's so many people playing in the you know, bars and stuff along the way. But then right outside those doors is that other place where it's like similar to Broadway and the Ryman being right there behind it. You know what I mean? Or right there beside it. It's like they're watching everyone get ready to come and eventually play there. So, which is pretty cool. All right, well, let's get to your single, and then we'll hit on some more stuff. So we talked about Shooter Jennings, you know, produced this the hot shit, which I love. I love.
Shooter Jennings produced a hot shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, did he say anything when like he saw the title?
No.
Well, tell us a little bit about the song, and then we'll give it a listen.
What do you want to know about the song?
How did it come together?
Well, I dated this dude, and I mean, he just thought that he deserved to be famous so bad. Like really badly. He really believed that deep down in his heart. And you know, there ain't too many ways to put it. He's just kind of an asshole. I mean, that's just what. Leave it at that.
I know a few of those people. Yeah.
Yes. So I just, the song kind of just happened.
I understand. All right. If you wouldn't mind, hit the mute button on your device there, and we'll give it a listen. There'll be a picture up on the screen. All right, here we go.
You're so in love with the thought of being great. You've hardly touched what's already on your plate. Silence at the table, but no one here's at peace. Hate the way you look at me when you got shit to say but refuse to speak. Don't wanna make a change. You're just a runaway. Hot shit, big shot. Much gain at what cost? Head in the clouds and your feet on shaky ground. So focused on your way up, you'd push anybody down. Hands on the mirror, can you see me now? Hate the way you look through me when I need close and you're walking out. Don't wanna make a change. Well, you just don't run away. Oh, hot shit, big shot. Oh, much gain, what cost? Please won't you lie to me? Give me one sweet thing to break this fall. Please won't you lie to me? Give me anything but nothing at all. Hot shit, big shot. Much gain, what cost? Hot shit, big shot. Much gain, what cost?
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Thank you.
You got anything you want to say on that, Hope, before I go ask any other questions?
Full disclosure, when I received this song this afternoon, I was doing my dishes. Might have been jamming so hard that I dropped a glass on the floor and broke it. But I feel like a worthy sacrifice for the purposes of rocking to this song. It's just I mean, like that, like it just, oh man, it made me want to punch someone.
Hell yeah, exactly.
I could completely see that being a TikTok like sound. You know what I mean? That is one of those songs I could see getting picked up, and I know that's almost, I would say, beyond our control, but people buy that stuff all the time. But I also know of a few friends of the podcast that have had songs kind of just pop off on their own like that, and which is really cool. And that's got pieces of that song where I could completely see women making versions of those songs. So definitely. So yeah, if y'all go use the sound on TikTok and
Please.
yeah, blow the thing up. Cynthia in the chat, which is always helps us out. She want to know who are some of your strongest female influences.
Oh man, I love Janis Joplin. I mean, crazy voice, and she also hit Jim Morrison over the head with that bottle of Southern Comfort, which I respect. Never been a fan of the Doors. I don't know what to say. And what else? I mean, it's cheesy to say my mom, but my mom. I love Joni Mitchell.
Where are you at on Bonnie Raitt?
Love Bonnie. Yeah.
That's who I
love
heard.
Bonnie. I've gotten that before, which is like a insane compliment. So I'll take that for sure. Yeah.
I was like musically on that song anyway. Like I was, and maybe it was because of the bass line, but the like Amy Winehouse sort of style is what was popping into my mind. And it was not necessarily your vocals, but the rest of the way that was laid down. Something like that. Mainly just because it was kind of funky, which
Gotta throw a little stank on it. I say you have to.
I just love when you say that with like a very prim and proper, like just a very kind, like throw a little stank on it. Like
Uh, that was the other line she added to her dad's song when she was 6.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, Opening spots. Have you done very much of that as of now, or I know that's something you said you wanted to try to shoot for and do some traveling and whatever, but
I've had a few. I opened for Jason Boland. That was cool. Jared Morris. That was like a little acoustic thing. That was super cool.
mhm.
What
Jared's
else? Let me think.
friend of the podcast.
All right.
Hmm.
And there's another one. Why am I forgetting? Oh no.
Well,
Giovanni.
oh, okay. I got
Yeah.
you, got you. When you've been in those positions, maybe even at gigs where you're doing, mostly covers, but you throw in those originals or whatever. Um, do you remember the first time someone besides a family member or friend or whatever, where you could tell they were picking up what you were laying down? Do you remember like that? Is there a moment that when you actually knew someone was paying attention?
Um, I think that I get that. I get at least one person every time I do like an original gig or like an original song. Um, and I'm always looking for them. I have my
Hmm.
eyes peeled. Like anyone, especially with women, uh, because
That's where I was going with that. With
yeah, I
that
mean,
with that song, where you could see where okay, the light's coming on, like they're you know
yeah. I mean, just like I see it a lot, like or like a group of girls, all friends together. They'll turn to each other, and I can. There have been times where I can see them be like, "This is perfect timing," like you know what I mean. And I love that. I love that for them. It feels like we're in some kind of like union together, which is which is all I want. Um, but I mean, I've seen dudes do the same thing too. I mean, not like that, but
turn to each other and go, "Oh my God, Frank, this
yeah,
this song."
some of them.
um, well, I mean, hey, the thing is that no matter if it's that song or any other song, just seeing something that you created is clicking with somebody has to be, you know, with
Oh
with
yeah,
with that with hot shit, like that's kind of almost like I don't want to. I'm not trying to dilute the importance of people paying attention just because it's a pissed off or funny or whatever you want to call it thing,
right.
but they're still listening to something you created, which is the whole goal. Just because it's entertaining different on another level doesn't mean that it's not still important from the base of a songwriter, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like the whole reason I feel like anyone makes anything is to connect with someone outside of themselves. Um, I mean, that's why I do it. And like when I was writing that, I wasn't like, oh, I'm such an angry woman. I can't wait to connect with all the other angry women out there. Like, it was just like, I'm just kind of pissed off. And everyone has been pissed off before. So, it just so happens that I was angry at a man at the time.
And then she put some stank on it, and there we
Yeah.
go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Song made.
Just
A little bit of
a
this, a little bit of
touch
that.
of stank, a little bit of stank.
Sprinkle of steak.
Like a little pouch,
Yeah, I got my
with some
God.
stank in it.
It'll be holy water, and you'll like take it to
Exactly.
your shows and just like anoint your front row with them.
That sounds exactly like something that like Brent Cobb or somebody would have or do, right? Putting the funk on it and the stank on it. So, um, all right. I hope you got anything on that.
Yeah. Okay. This is a totally selfish question, but
Okay.
um, like as you're continuing on in this career, like there are highs and there are lows, And there are seasons where like the trajectory is going up, and then like maybe a little plateau, and you're like, oh man, I never wanted to play that barbecue restaurant again, but here we are playing, like, or whatever that is for you. How are you like coping and staying the course, like through those plateaus or those lows where it feels like nothing's happening or it's not moving in the right direction?
Well, I could give you a rehearsed answer, or I could tell you the truth.
Girl, you know I want the truth.
And the truth is, I mean, I cope because I don't quit. I'm not going to quit. Quitting's not an option for me. I don't know how it's going to happen or what's going to go down. I just know that I can't quit. But I am like competitive to a fault, which is not a good thing. We're working on that. I can be my own, like absolute own worst enemy at times. Comparison is the thief of joy. And if there's one thing I will do is sit down and compare myself to everyone except the people who would kill to be in the position I'm in right now, which is convenient. So I think most of the time the way I cope is by freaking out and bringing other people into that. Like, but it does help. I mean, the worst part, the worst thing I could do would be to freak out and not tell anyone that I'm freaking out. Because at least when I'm freaking out and I'm telling someone about it, they have the opportunity to be like, hey, I get it, but you're sounding a little insane. And like, look where you were 2 years ago versus where you are now.
Yeah. Or like the people who can right size, like, yeah, you did that. Like they said no, or that person said not now. But like, do you not remember the phone call you had yesterday where like 3 people said yes? Like, why are we? Yeah. Who are those people in your corner that you're freaking out with?
Oh, I got a bunch of them. Not really a bunch. I mean, so my manager's wife, she's one of my close friends. I'll freak out to her all the time. I'll freak out to another one of my girlfriends, freak out to my boyfriend, freak out to my mom. I mean, it really kind of just depends. Freak out to my manager. Sometimes my manager will freak out to me. We'll have entire meetings where we're just like, what the fuck is going on? But I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I have to keep going. Like, I can't, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I've had a lot of experiences in this, and I just know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing one way or another. So it's not an option.
Well, I don't want you to like downsize your answer to this question. Like, I would like for you to be actually, you know, bluntly honest. So when I say you made it, what is that to you? And I say that I put that at the beginning mainly just because I don't want anyone watching this to think that it's an egotistical thing to think one way, or to, you know, because there's wide range. You know, there's I want to headline, you know, Madison Square Garden, and then there's I want to provide a family. I want to provide, you know, if I can make music and provide for my family, then I've made it. Like, there's everything in between, and there's no wrong answer to any of that on that question. It's just nice to see where people's minds are.
Yeah, give me Madison Square Garden. Why the fuck not? Well, I mean, there'd be like a lot of times where I would try to downplay the answer to that. But I mean, honestly, the worst case scenario is that doesn't happen. Best case scenario is that it does, and at least I've said what I wanted and put it out there. Like, yeah, that's what I want. Anyone who says that they don't want that is fucking lying. Are you kidding?
Well, there are certain artists that I would imagine would not be comfortable in that position. Like, say like John Moreland. right? Like
Oh, okay.
his
Yeah.
personality.
That's
his persona.
exactly I was
That's
just thinking
scary.
John World.
I'm sorry for you now.
That's fair.
Uh, but there's a lot of people that are in that position, that have that frame of mind that would not want that stage. You know what I mean? There's almost two different, or not two different. There's a bunch of ways to look at it, but there's some people that would not like. They're almost not comfortable on the stages they play now. So it's
Yeah. Well, I think, I'm also 25. So that I'll be self-aware and say that plays a role in every answer that I've given today. But I mean, I just, either way, regardless of what happens, I've made a promise with myself that I'm going to find a way to be happy. Like I'm not going to die unhappy, regardless of what does or doesn't happen. That's like not to get too deep, but like a promise I had to make to myself. So I'm kind of at the start of the race, if you will. And I'm just going to see what happens. And I'm going to just have big dreams and do my absolute best to achieve them. But at the end of the day, like, you can't ever rely on one thing to make you happy or one person to make you happy. So I'm just going to roll with the punches, hope for the best.
Understand. All right. Hope you got another one on before we get to the rapid fire.
I don't think so.
No?
I'm ready for
Okay.
a rapid fire.
All right. You can just kind of, it is what it intended for, just whatever comes to mind. So if what was your first, well, besides Pops, what was your first concert that you went to? And then what was your first concert that you paid to go see, like yourself?
Okay. First concert I ever went to was Hannah Montana. Fucking incredible. Best thing I've ever seen. First concert I paid to go to. Oh my gosh. What was the first concert I paid to go to?
And answers like that is why I like that question. Honestly, as a kid, like this is what it's supposed to be, right?
Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden.
Okay, and that's when you were in New York City for school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a pretty good.
It was awesome.
But it was
so sick.
It would be crazy to see him in general, and then in that place, like that's talking.
Yeah,
about
that's
that,
like
that
I consider that's his place. Yeah,
Yep.
It was awesome.
All right. If you could have dinner with any historical figure,
oh my God,
who would it be, and what are you eating?
Who would it be, and what are we eating?
Musical or otherwise, it doesn't matter. Alive, dead.
Who would I want to eat with? Gosh, that's hard. Because, like, honestly, it's going to depend on if they chew with their mouth open or not. And there's just no way for me to know that.
She's like, I was going to say Jesus, but if he...
Yeah.
His dinner's over.
Oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to say Ram Dass. Love Ram Dass. And I think that we're eating frozen yogurt. You don't have to chew that. So it takes all the risk out of it.
Safe answer. All right. Hope you got a rapid fire. Or did I take a?
Yeah. No. Between Socrates and Aristotle, who do you think would have been a better Americana songwriter?
Whoa! Holy shit! Okay.
You're way better than this.
I heard you
said
said philosophy, so.
I did. I love that you know that. Okay, I think that I'm going to say, Socrates.
Okay.
I'll go with Socrates.
And then, which U.S. president would have been a better drummer, George Washington or Abraham Lincoln?
Holy shit. Okay, I'm going to say George Washington, because he chopped down that tree, allegedly.
Yeah.
even though I think that's not true. But you gotta have rhythm to do that.
Lincoln
Okay.
seemed a
Gotta
little
have
stiff. Yeah,
He was so
he seemed pretty
tall and
straight.
gangly.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Maybe way offbeat. Okay. Let's see. What was something if you were to start a podcast tomorrow, musically, who are you interviewing? And not because of like ratings or views, but because you want to pick their brain.
Who am I interviewing?
Alive or dead.
I have to interview Billy Joel because I love him so much. Well, I would say yeah. And I think that he would be like fun to talk to. You know what I mean? I would go for Paul Simon. I don't know him personally, but I just get this vibe of like he would intimidate me too much to talk to him, you know? Like I would say something really stupid or like make a joke and it just wouldn't land.
Fair enough. And be like, what is this hot shit song?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't tell Paul Simon about that song. It's not my best work.
All right. Well, we'll get to the last and final question. This started as we'll let the honorary co-host ask this, but it started as a joke on episode 1, and here we are. You'll be over 200 when this is posted. So we're still rolling with it. So I hope you can do the honors.
Of course. Very importantly, and without any sarcasm at all, we are desperate to know what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Is zebra cakes a Little Debbie snack?
It is.
Okay, that one. I didn't get to eat a lot of Little Debbie snacks
Claire,
growing up.
I think we were separated at birth because I got fat in 6th grade off of Little Debbie snacks. So
when I would see those in my friends' like kitchens or whatever, I would go insane. I was a little fat kid too, so I mean I was all for that. I also think of, I don't know if y'all seen it, but Will Ferrell when he's dressed as Little Debbie. I think it's on the Tonight Show, but he pretends like he's not.
Oh yeah.
So that was pretty awesome.
The actual character of Little Debbie.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, if also Claire's got some shows coming up later, so make sure you follow all the socials and everything. But you do have one on April 25th.
That's
Where
right.
was that one at?
That's
in Fort Worth.
Yeah, in Fort Worth at Southside Preservation Hall. Gotcha. With Generational Wealth. That's another local band. All
right. Like, make sure you go follow Claire on wherever you stream your music. Hit the follow button. And hope not McGuire up there. Make sure you follow. Make sure you follow hers too. She's on the Spotify and the Apple and all that stuff too. Make sure. Unfortunately, part of the game for all independent artists is the numbers and the socials, streaming platforms, all that kind of stuff. So help them out when they post videos, interact with them. It's not everybody's favorite thing to do necessarily. So like, comment, let them know you saw it, share it with your friends. Go to a show, any independent music. Go to a show. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Buy some merch, help them get down the road. Anything else that I missed? No, that's about it. Okay, all right. Well, we covered everything. All right. Y'all have a good evening. Thanks for everybody for watching this thing.
Thank ya.
Bye, guys.
All right. No, come on, end.